My name is John Cottington, and I was married to Helen. I've known her for about 50 years. My background is that of being in the army, and Helen was anything but a background in the army. She was an artist, she was a remarkable lady, and she was an incredible sailor, coastal sailor. She was a yacht master, and I'm a fisherman. And for those of you that know fishing and sailing, they don't go together. Whenever we were out on the water, I wanted to put my fishing rod over the side and she wanted to sail. So it was always a bone of contention. And Helen being Helen, we sailed. I'll never forget the day in July last year when we had to attend the hospital in Torbay, and Helen was told that she had cancer, breast cancer again, with secondary cancer that had spread to her lungs, her heart and her liver. It was a great shock to us both, although I think we both knew something wasn't right. It was then that Helen was placed on the palliative care register, and we became under the guidance and care of the Rowcroft Hospice. From that moment, there was a palliative care nurse, a specialist palliative care nurse, took charge of, managed Helen's treatment and ensured that her self-respect was maintained and she was kept pain-free throughout this process. This particular nurse held our hand and took us down a path that was very scary for us both. We had no idea what we were getting into. Over the next few months, I cared for Helen on a full-time basis. And that was fine because it brought us very close together. And it was an honour to do that. But then we reached a stage where her personal hygiene, really I was not qualified and competent enough probably to manage that properly. And so I rang the Rowcroft Hospice and spoke to the hospice at home team. From that moment, there was a weight lifted off my shoulders. The hospice at home team ensured there was 24-hour care, whether that care came from the same people every time or other members of the team. We got to know everybody very well. And that was all taken away. And if I had any concerns whatsoever about what was happening, I only had to speak to one of the nurses or get on the telephone. And those fears were dealt with straight away. There was no messing around. And because of my military background, the fact that somebody comes in and goes bang, 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 sorted. And that's what I was looking for. And that's exactly what happened. But it wasn't just a job. It appeared that the people who were part of the team, they had an incredible sense of understanding. And I use the word empathy, but it's more than that, it was love as well. They were also very conscious of the need to look after us both, because it wasn't just for Helen. You know, that was what I thought initially. This was going to be for Helen because she was the one that was poorly. But also they kept on saying, well, you're very important too. We've got to look after you. And I used to poo-hoo that. But I realised that that was important. And any of the fears I had, I could talk to them. Every one of the nurses was also, if you like, a counsellor, because I would express my concerns, my hopes, my fears, whatever, and I could talk about anything. And they would listen and they would give counsel. And that was very, very reassuring. Absolutely amazing. A bereavement service was also made available to me. I haven't used a bereavement service. I'm managing the situation as best I could. Bear in mind I've got a military background, and the stiff upper lip is not always a stiff upper lip, I can assure you. There's a great deal of emotion, but I'm managing it. And Helen would say, if I start to get beside myself, she would say, oh, for goodness sake. So that voice is always there.